everyone, and welcome to Bridgewater International Speedway. And what a sight it is here tonight, with a capacity crowd and plenty of action in store with the visiting American Speedway stars performing here tonight. Joining us is our guest commentator for the telecast, David Rose. David, the stage is set for a great night's entertainment.
Certainly is, Mal. There's no doubt about that. It's been quite a while since we've seen the American stars here in Tasmania. Already Tasmania has a victory up. Of course, here at Bridgewater tonight, the Yanks are a little bit upset because last year they were defeated. They're back with vengeance. They want to do well, and with Tasmania one up already, I think we're assured of some fantastic racing tonight.
Well, you were down in the pits a little earlier today, and they were putting plenty of work into those cars, the Americans.
They certainly were. A few problems for one guys last night. They've been working all of today to get the third car down here. They're looking a little bit second-hand with their very tight tour schedule, but being professional drivers, they'll be out there racing with them.
Okay, David, let's get down to action. The cars are on the grid. Plenty of speedway action coming up from the Bridgewater International Speedway. Well, David Rose, after tonight's racing here at the Bridgewater International Speedway, it's been a good night for the Tasmanian drivers in the Challenge Series against the points tally after 3 heats that we saw tonight. Tasmania 7 points and America finishing on 23 points. The Americans suffered somewhat mechanically.
It's a rather disappointing night mechanically with lots of mechanical breakdowns, but of course in the 3 heats they could in, they won 2 out of the 3, but because they didn't have the other cars in, they missed out on the points. But some great drives by the Americans, in particular John Pearson with a brand new lap record, and just bad luck for the Americans and terrific for the Tasmanians.
But that's motorsport, isn't it?
That's right.
It's been a good night for the promoters though here at the Bridgewater International Speedway, a record crowd, and that'll all go well for the sport here in Tasmania.
Yes, it certainly does. It's great to see the little patrons are prepared to support local speedway, and let's hope they can come back next time.
Well, David Rowe, thank you for your expert commentary here tonight. It's been a bumper wing, and I think it's been enjoyed by all. On behalf of all of us at TVT, thanks to you, and let's hope that we can come out to the Bridgewater International Speedway in the coming months for more fantastic speedway racing. The 13th annual BP Rally will be held this year on the 13th and 14th of June. BP are again sponsoring the rally, and it's the richest of type in Tasmania. The publicity director and club captain David Rose said today that although rallying may be one on the decline in other states, there's still a lot of interest in Tasmania.
A tradition in Tasmanian rallying, because of its very nature, over the last 3 or 4 years, routes not only in Tasmania but indeed around Australia and worldwide have tended to go to the shorter, faster, more driver-orientated event. But here in Tasmania, the BP Rally has traditionally been a concentration event, a team effort event, and it's retained. That has been retained anyway for many years, and it's still going, and we're very pleased it is.
Well, over the years we seem to look at rallies as crews getting bogged, getting lost, stopping because trees are falling down. They have changed though in principle, have they?
Basically, yes. As I said, they've become shorter and more simple. The BP Rally is still maintaining the tradition of rallies where you could get bogged for a couple of hours and still win the event and pull some dirty tricks on your fellow competitors. Well, not too dirty, but you know what I mean. And it's a nice balance now of up-to-date principles and what have you, but still retain the, can I say, adventure of years gone by.
The course is any easier now?
Generally, yes. BP Rally tends to be tough. I wouldn't say tough car braking. It's tough all round. That's the point I'm really trying to emphasise. It's really going back to the old days of a reliable vehicle, a good driver, and above all...
For the police force and less inconvenience for the motorists. Jennifer Jones has the details.
The new breath analysis equipment is an electronic unit with gas sensors which analyses driver's breath and provides instant digital readouts on blood alcohol concentration. During a demonstration today in Hobart, Police Public Relations Officer David Rose drank about 6 ounces of spirits before being tested by Sergeant Wayne Campbell, the officer in charge of the Hobart breathalyzer section. The units are powered by rechargeable batteries and are calibrated for continual accuracy, the mouthpiece being the only part that needs replacing after each test. This is an improvement on the existing testers, which can only be used once. Consisting of chemicrystals which change colour according to the amount of alcohol consumed, the old testers cost $1.20 each. The main cost for the new equipment is only 17 cents for each mouthpiece. In addition, they're easier to read at night.
Save time, both for police and most, as well as thousands of dollars a year. Ian Baker reports.
The puff bag and the tube of crystals which go green if you're gone has been around since 1971 and cost the taxpayer a fortune. It's $1 a blow and 6,000 we used just last year. From this Saturday, enter the Draga electronic tester. They cost $6 each, but when random test roadblocks go later this year, they'll earn their outlay in one night's savings. and I'll speed the end on their way.
Forestry areas tonight. The 32 drivers left the Rest Point Convention Centre car park this afternoon in the 4th round of the Southern Safari Rally Championship. It's the first time the rally has been held in the state. Organiser Mr David Rose spoke to Pat Stanton.
Well, for the first time in southern Tasmania, we've been able to use a section never before used in a rally, the new A&M forestry area in the Derwent Valley. So that in effect means all navigators will start with an equal disadvantage, if you like. There's no local knowledge come to play, therefore people like our two fly-in mainland navigators will start with an equal chance of victory.
How conditions differ from those they faced up north?
Well, basically at the moment the roads are fairly new, so they're in very, very good condition. Although the 8 inches of snow we found yesterday, what fell overnight, possibly 10 or 12 inches of snow at the moment may make conditions fairly difficult for the drivers tonight.
Colour magazine. But while the release of the first issue may be cause for celebration at the club, it'll cause a great deal of heartburn in the printing industry.
That's how the news sheet was for a generation of drivers. Here's how it will be from now on. And the content has been lifted, with news, features and local road tests, as well as official club propaganda, which can pass into print here without being molested by rewriters in the daily media.
This will be a media for the club to expand its point of view.
While the launch of this magazine represents a significant achievement for the Royal Automobile Club of Tasmania, for publishing in southern Tasmania it represents a failure. That magazine had to be printed in Melbourne. It seems all that's lacking is about $6 million of investment in a real-fed offset colour machine. The trouble is that without it, you can't compete.
We have to watch the pennies, in fact, so in order to provide a high-quality magazine, we had to be still very mindful of our economic situation, and unfortunately we were unable to negotiate with anybody in Tasmania that could match some of the prices from the mainland, so it's purely financial.
And George was watching him and just plowed into the sand and gone.
Probably the best-known Tasmanian at Bathurst doesn't drive in the race. For the past decade, Hobart's David Rose has been one of the track's commentators. This year, he has a slightly different role. He's doing reports from the pits, which are being relayed around the Bathurst circuit. For David Rose, nothing beats the excitement of Bathurst.
It's Australia's greatest motor race. We have some very large race meetings like Sandown, the Grand Prix meeting, and so on, but they're usually 1 or 2 day meetings, but nothing compares to Bathurst with the size of the circuit, the size of the people. 6,000 people working in and around the pits 24 hours a day for a week now, and just the size of the race. There's nothing quite like it.
Unfortunately for John Bow, his first foray at Bathurst starts badly. The Volvo develops mechanical trouble, leaving he and his crew frustrated.
I think a turbo hose was split and it's lost all its boost at one go. In fact, you know, I mean, it goes like a Morris Minor.
The long stint out of the race, an Australian victory, might have been more popular. As the old adage goes, everyone loves a winner.
At Rest Point Casino tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and it will finish at Youngtown around lunchtime on Sunday.
The BP Rally was last held in 1982, but as more emphasis was put on speed, rallying stopped being an overnight event and most events were reduced to 7 or 8 hours. But when former rally champions Lynn Gigney, Greg Priest and Jeff Rainbow, all past winners of the event, got together, they decided to revive the adventure. And organiser David Rose says there's a big number of entries.
A lot of the old stage of previous champion navigators and drivers have come out of retirement after 10 years or more to contest the event, and significantly a lot of young guys who have never had the chance to compete in an event such as this have come out, and interestingly again a lot of father-son type combinations, or sons following in father's footsteps.
In the early 80s, rallying saw a complete change.
We look at the cars that are available today, turbocharged, four-wheel drive and very sophisticated. They became extremely eligible for the special stage type of rallying. Rallying changed, I guess, in the early 80s from the old navigation style all-night endurance type events to much shorter driver-orientated events, and that meant there was no challenge left for navigators. So events like the BP Rally, true navigation style endurance events, really had no place.
The BP Rally will start from the casino at 10 o'clock.
Toyota Four-Wheel Drive Club of Tasmania held their mud run at Kellerby.
There were 44 four-wheel drive was drivable The overnight rain changed all that. Most vehicles in their first run this morning failed to get around the 500-metre course and ended up bogged. It was a busy day for the tow vehicles as they snatched them out. Finally, Armin Bayer in a Toyota short-wheel-based cruiser finished the circuit in the smart time of 1 minute 18 seconds. It attracted a big crowd, and as course commentator David Rose says, it's a lot of fun.
Mud runs are all about getting very dirty and having as much fun as possible, while getting very, very dirty.
They've had a lot of trouble getting round today because of the heavy rain over.
They have. It's a sort of circuit unlike a conventional race circuit where it's either wet or it's dry. They have to make a difficult track, which they did, but of course the overnight rain and rain again this morning made it very, very hard for them.
The Dash for Cash attracted a big field, and they were competing for prize money of $175. First prize was $100 and was well deserved for a dirty day's work.